Hi, this is the third installment of my videos on sort of recapping the polynomial check for understanding back from April. And I'm going to be dealing with the problems in problem set 3, which asks you to, instead of simplify and organize, or to rather than expand, we're going to factor. It's going the opposite direction of expansion. We're going to try to factor this out and I'm going to walk you through how I approach this. So the first one is a more simple trinomial. It's a quadratic trinomial, and my lead coefficient is 1. So life is going to be a little easier for this one. My goal here is to get two binomials that are multiplied times each other. Now, my binomials are going to start with an x, each of them, and they're going to be plus or minus something. Now, the place I'm going to look for my plus or minus something, I'm going to try and find two factors of negative 36 that add up to negative 9. That's how we're going to do this. Because the lead coefficient is 1, I don't have to worry about any shenanigans from that. My outside and my inside products have to add up to negative 9x. And my outside product is going to be 1x times some number. My inside product is going to be some number times x. And those some numbers are only going to come from negative 36. They don't come from my lead coefficient, because my lead coefficient is 1. So let's take a look at factors of 36 and see if any of them work out for us. So and we need the negative part of the factor to be larger because my sum is negative. So I'm going to have 1 times negative 36. That's a fail. Then I'll try 2 times negative 18. That's going to be a fail. That's not going to add up to negative 9. And I'll say 3 times negative 12. And at this point, I can stop because 3 times negative 12 makes negative 36. But 3 plus negative 12 makes negative 9. So my factors are going to end up having to be x plus 3 and x minus 12. And if we FOIL that out, that's x squared. My first is x squared. My outside is negative 12x. My inside is 3x. So I'll FOIL that out. So I've got x squared. My outside is negative 12x. My inside is positive 3x. And my last is negative 36. When I combine that, that's going to be x squared minus 9x minus 36. And we have successfully factored it. X plus 3 times x minus 12. Next one's a little trickier because my lead coefficient isn't 1. So I've got more stuff muddying up the waters. But I'm still going to have some sort of something times x plus or minus something, and something times x plus or minus something. Now with these, what I generally do is because my outside product and my inside product are some sort of combination of the factors of my lead coefficient and the factors of my in coefficient, I'm just going to cut to the chase and I'm going to multiply those together. Okay, I'm going to have 4 times negative 6 is going to equal negative 24. And then I'm going to look at all the factors of negative 24 that would add up to my middle term. So my middle term is the sum of the two products that come from all of that. So I know that my middle term is positive, so I'm going to need the larger number to be positive. So I'll start with negative 1 times 24, and that's a fail. Then negative 2 times 12. Negative 2 plus 12 is 10, so that's not going to work. Then negative 3 times 8. Oh, There's more factor combinations I could go for, but negative 3 times 8 is negative 24, but negative 3 plus 8 is positive 5. So my inside or my out, one of them is going to be a negative 3x, either my inside or my outside, and the other one is going to be positive 8x. So what I need to have happen is I need to use the parts of my lead coefficient and my in coefficient to somehow get myself a negative 3 as either my inside or outside, and a positive 8 for the other one. So let's start off by trying to get an 8. Well, the only way I can get an 8 out of this is if I use both factors of 4, 2 times 2, and the 2 out of the 6. So I'm going to say 4x, and then times positive 2. So that's going to get me an 8x. And then I'm left, since my last part is negative 6, so I have to get a last by doing this times 2, and I have to get negative 6. So that has to be negative 3. And there we have it. We have 4x minus 3 times x plus 2. And we should test this out and see if it works. So when we get our first is 4x times x. So that's 4x squared. Our last is negative 3 times 2, so negative 6. Our outside is 4x times 2, so that's 8x. That's positive 8x. And our inside is negative 3 times x and negative 3x. That negative 3x and that positive 8x combines to make positive 5x. And we now have 4x squared plus 5x minus 6, and that was what we were looking for. All right, I'm going to stop this video at this point for 3a and 3b, and in my fourth video, I'm going to deal with 3c and 3d, which are special case situations. And then I will deal with 3e as well, which combines a couple of different things all at once. So 3e is going to be a factoring by grouping situation, which will then have a special case within it. So let's pause this, consider how to factor these sorts of things. If you're having trouble with this, there are about 800,000 videos on YouTube on how to factor trinomials, and factor trinomials where a doesn't equal 1. By a, I mean the lead coefficient. So check those out and practice them. It will make your life easier.